Hi, Jackie. You're the first one in the room today. And thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. So set up over here. I'll be able to watch what you guys are saying. Good. I started a little later just for you, just so you know. Okay, Jackie. Everybody's looking at me at 6 o'clock, like, aren't you supposed to be going live? They all started panicking. I'm like, yeah, I'm going live, just not at 6. I'm gonna do it at 7. So we're gonna be doing some galaxy tags. I made a painting yesterday. At are you seeing this backwards? I hope not. Are you guys seeing this upside, right side up, or upside down? My dots are in the bottom. Well, in real life, my those yellow dots that you guys see on the top are actually in the bottom. So this is why I had everything kind of reversed. But let me see. Camera, maybe it's just the camera. Flipped it over. I think it was just the way I had the camera. Yesterday, some of you guys know because I shared it on my Instagram. So for those of you that follow me on my Instagram, you'll get to see a lot more artwork that I do. That I don't always get to record or that I mess up on the recording, but I share it on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me, please, yeah, Design Elemental. And this painting I did yesterday, which was like of the sky, and then I did like this mountain theme here in the bottom. So I'm really digging this whole sky thing, and I thought today I would continue. And to my luck, I found a pack of space stickers, space related stickers. I think I got these from Brands, if I'm not mistaken. I thought this would be a good idea to kind of incorporate this into that. Thank you so much. So this time I'm not gonna focus. I don't think so much on landscape. I think I'm just gonna focus more on kind of showing you guys how I came about doing this whole thing. Now the inspiration, the complete inspiration behind this piece is actually another YouTuber that I watch quite frequently. Her channel is called Painting with Jane, and she is just I just love how relaxed she is. And I mean, I watch her and it's like meditation when I watch her. I mean, she's just super, super awesome. She's just so relaxed and she'll tell you, like, don't do this because if you do it this way, then you're going to get this effect, or don't use this product. I know it sounds like it could work, but like she just gives you all these extra tips. And she really takes her time to like kind of walk through all the things. And she always comes out with the most beautiful canvases. So I watch her actually quite frequently. Um, and just recently, I think within the last couple days, she's well, this video that she just made up, and I think one previous video before, she did like this whole thing where she was working on like sky pieces, and she did like the Stonehenge one, and then she did this one that she had like with these hands, really really cool. And she does this thing where she kind of she mixes her paint with like a medium, and it makes the paint kind of translucent, so you can actually add a whole bunch of different layers of colors and just make them translucent so that you don't lose all the details that you have in the background. So I really like that, and I want to try to get a little bit better on that so that I can start incorporating just doing my own thing, incorporating that into like my mixed media and just different projects and stuff like that. So I did a test run yesterday. My goal actually is to, let me see if I can pull this out without knocking everything. Yep, sure do knock everything over. But I bought this canvas, and I bought this canvas over at Dollar General out of all places. Has canvases now for $3. I bought two of them, and I dropped something. Boy, I'm losing stuff. It's probably all rolling right under my bed. So I bought two of these canvases, and like this whole galaxy thing. So this is why I'm really like trying to practice right now before I actually commit to, doing the canvas. 14-inch canvas. I paid $3 for them. They have a bigger size which costs $5. I just thought it was really cool because it's an actual canvas. Like it has the little board and everything all the way around it. Um, Hoping to do or maybe work on it this Saturday. I'm not sure. It all depends because for some reason I'm having an issue here where I've been trying to record videos so that I can upload them artwork. Like I actually recorded most of this one, but it's not recording properly. I guess because my hand gestures are so fast, sometimes it starts like hazing out like crazy. So the webcam is not really good for that. This phone that I have, it eats up the memory like in 2 seconds. And you guys know I can do this for a while. Hi Linda. Who else is here? Hi Brandy. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna just start doing probably more lives as opposed to more of those, unless it's something that is gonna be something that is quick and that I know for a fact is gonna be quick. Like I want to show you something that I made real quick, and I already used it, and I'm probably gonna do a video on how to make this. But I made my own easel. I like the little lip here. Let me see if you guys can see. It's got like the little lip. What I made this out of is a medium priority box, and I added like the little thing there to kind of hold it up right. And this is pretty much what I used yesterday to kind of test my piece out, and I just tape it down and then I can just paint while I'm sitting down, as opposed to having my paper flat or buying an easel, which you guys know can cost a pretty penny for the easel and stuff like that. So this is like my version of a desktop easel, and all I did is I put over it all over the front because I figured it would be easy for easy cleanup if I wanted to clean it. Chances are is that I'm not gonna clean it because it'll just give my easel a little bit of character after all the different layers of paint. But I thought it was a really really cool, quick. Have to do any cutting, you guys. The only thing that I had to do was get an additional piece of cardboard to kind of do this little triangle thing in the back so that it has like a little bridge there. Two sides don't they don't collapse on each other. Quick, simple, easy, and I mean you can pretty much use this type of easel for anything. I mean even card making, you could just tape your thing there and just color in if you're gonna do watercoloring or whatever you're gonna do, as opposed to always having it flat. When you have your papers, you're creating your artwork and it's flat. Your vision, your layout of the dimensions could be a little bit distorted. I know that happens to me quite often. And what'll happen is that I'm thinking that it's short, and when I bring it up, it's actually super long, or everything's like off. So and I was gonna actually throw it out because I'm always getting like different packages from different places. So I save them sometimes. Sometimes I don't have a choice but to throw them out. And I was gonna actually get rid of some, like do some purging. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I need an easel. Like, how can I turn this thing into an easel? And that and then just started playing with it, and just the way when as soon as I held it closed and I saw those two flaps kind of pop out, and one was real small in the back and then the other one kind of long, I was like, OMG, I made an easel. So I went ahead and got myself another piece of cardboard from the stash, and I turned it into a triangle and just taped it in there, got my tape, and I was like, yay, I was so excited. Mi gente me espera. Well, I am here. Is the streaming going good? Thanks, Brandy. Sometimes you just gotta make do with what you have, and I figured I could get a lot of life out of that, especially like if I don't mess it up and add like water to it or something. But it'll help me to kind of do things in a different kind of perspective because I'm always painting on a flat surface. I'm always painting on my desk. Um, to my back wall, even though it's close to me, it's just my arm is very extended, and I don't have very long arms, so it's just gonna be a pain in the katush after a couple of doing that. So said, just kind of giving you a little bit of feedback as far as to how we ended up where we are today. I went ahead and continuing on this inspirational roller coaster that I'm on. I went ahead and cut up some cardstock. Now, I'm not sure what kind of cardstock this is. All I know is that it looks like that bezel paper or basil or whatever it's called. But it's kind of like very textured, and it's got like a to it. It's a little bit thicker. I don't know about thicker, but it definitely seems sturdier than my regular cardstock. And I found this at my favorite little thrift store, which is the Old Lady store. And I bought, she had like this little bundle there, so I bought it a while back. And I actually very rarely use it. So I figured since I'm gonna be doing Galaxy and it's already black, instead of me having to paint it and gesso it and all of that good stuff, and just kind of start on this and make some tags and see how far we go. Hi, Ruth. Ay, qué bueno, muchas gracias. So, I got these stickers, and I think that I'm going to incorporate these stickers that I have there because, this only kind of goes for a certain kind of theme. And actually, they don't have any more at my Dollar Tree. And I think Brandy, this was you that gave these to me, I believe. And I've been wanting to use them for a while, but I just didn't know what to use them on. So I think that this will be perfect to just add like little dimensions and stuff like that to that. I hear a little magazine because these are good to like put paint on and just mix paint and just do all of that good stuff. Although I also have my little palette, but just in case I need the extra room, I also have this here. So I think that we shall commence. And just to give you guys a heads up on what I'm gonna be using, I was looking through all the stuff that Deco Art has sent me because she uses like a glazing medium to make it translucent. Um, when I did this painting, I actually used what is this thing called? Let me pull it out if I can find it. Um paste. What's the other one? Matte medium. I used matte medium from Deco Art to do this, but it kind of dulled it out a little bit and it didn't give it that high shine, that high gloss. It did the job as far as making the paint itself translucent. I already got paint on my fingers. I haven't even started. As far as making the paint translucent, but when it came to the actual finish, it looks really, really flat. So I'm not gonna use that today. I did find some glazing medium, which I hope that that'll work. But I also brought out the Decopage gloss. So as you guys know, you guys can use this stuff for a sealer, not just for glue. So you can actually seal your work once it's all done with this decoupage. So I pulled out the gloss because hopefully it'll keep my piece nice and shiny. Pulled out some paints, and I have from the Americana brand. I'm gonna keep it rather primary. So I got cadmium yellow, I got primary red, and I got primary blue. From their media line, which is the fluid acrylics, which are an acrylic that's a little bit looser. I pulled out some other additional colors just in case I want to get a little crazy. Um, the colors that I pulled out is dioxide purple, primary magenta, cobalt teal, cadmium red hue, and phthalo green blue. So I got these, and then colors because I haven't really tried these yet, and I want to see how it looks. And this is interference in violet, so it's a clear, but what happens is that when the light hits it, you'll get reflections of purple in it or violet, if you will. And I also pulled out this one, which does the same thing but in turquoise. So like different pieces of that in different areas. And then I also grabbed my loose glitter in gold because I haven't really used that either, to see where I can add those. Actually, a rather simple. It's actually really really simple. When you come to think about it, I think the most part of it is just the layering aspect of it. So I'm just gonna grab one of my biggest ones and start with one of my biggest ones. I'm gonna grab my little here and just add more of the colors that I have there. And I'm gonna use this here probably to mix my paint in. You know what? I'm just gonna put it right on this magazine. So I'm gonna grab just a little bit of each color of the yellow. I'm gonna start with the basics, and then as I get deeper into it, then I'll add probably more. And I'm also gonna use white. I haven't pulled the white out. I have it in the I have it in here somewhere. I just gotta pull it out. And I'm gonna separate these somewhat. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in, grab some of this decoupage, little things that you guys saw me pull out that I said I was gonna use for shakers, but everything gets used for paints somehow, somewhere along the lines. I'm just gonna pull out quite an amount of that just so that I can have it handy and available. Hi Patricia, no problem. What what are we doing today? We're doing galaxy tags. So I'm thinking space, stars. As far as planets, I'm not gonna go into painting or drawing any planets because I'm gonna use the actual stickers to give it that dimension and pop those out. Can you guys hear me well? So I'm gonna have this, and that, and let me get my little tag thing here. And actually, let me get this here just so that I have that. Wire is not in the way of my video, but let me pull this back just in case. A little bit better. So I'm gonna have that, and the first thing I'm gonna do, I have this is one of my stencil brushes that I got from Deco Art. This is called this is one of their Americana accessories, and it's used mainly for stenciling. But since I have to brush on um, to kind of make that cloudy effect, you can use a stencil brush if you have one, or you can use like a really beat up brush that you don't really care for too much, something that looks hella crazy. And I'll show you an example because I have plenty of those hella crazy brushes. Um, next, uh, this one's stiff as a board. Let me put that in that water right there. Okay, where are you, crazy little brush? I just seen you. Now it wants to hide. But I just want to show you guys an example of what I mean by a crazy looking brush. Because it's like hiding. It's like, no, don't show me. But like you see this one's a beat to shit. Like, oh, oops, sorry. Excusez-moi. I reverse it. This one is beat up. And the bristles are pretty much everywhere. And normally we would throw these things away, but these actually give really interesting texture. And they paint different, obviously, because they're all distorted. But these are good for like these kinds of things when you want to do like clouds or just like hazy environments, or fuzzy stuff. These are really good for that. So wide for what I'm trying to do on this small tag. So I'm actually gonna pull out both of my stencil brushes and work off of that. My barrel is loose. So let me just get some white paint if I can find it. I know I have it. I got a tons of it actually. Now I just have to figure out where I put it. So I was just using it yesterday. Um, something with me, you guys. I'm so serious. It's always something with me. I found most of it anyway. And I'm gonna get the black out just in case I need the black for any additional touches. What else do I have in here that I might need? And I'm good with the ones that I have now. All right, so the first thing you want to do when you work on any galaxy type piece, is obviously paint your background black. Now, if you're gonna work on, then you don't have to necessarily worry about that, depending on what you're making. But normally, what you would do is either you would prime your surface with either gesso or you would paint it black. So yesterday was watercolor paper, so I didn't prime it or nothing because it was just like a test run more so than anything else. I'm gonna need quite an amount of this. So I already have some here, more. And you're gonna be picking up little bits of this. You're not gonna really be picking up too much at a time because you're working it in more so than anything to be able to get quite a few of these out. Because while one is drying, I'll keep working on the next one, so on and so forth. A little distance. I sound distance. Okay. I ordered like these little clip-on mics. Hopefully these things will work. I have no idea because you guys gotta see what what I'm going through right now with this mic situation. Let me just show you. I took the headset apart yesterday because the speakers wasn't working. So I'm like, what the heck do I need that for? And I pretty much just wrapped it around my neck. So I grabbed duct tape. I took the whole thing apart and I taped the inside. And I just grabbed duct tape and put that on the outside. So yeah, it's the struggle right now, for real, for real. But as long as the mic works, I'm like, okay. So we're gonna work on just a little something, something. So the first thing that we want to start with is obviously your clouded space. Anything that's gonna be pretty much fixed to the background. Like with this, I started with the clouds first, and then I went in glazing over with the others with the additional colors, so that the clouds was like the most dominant. And the clouds and the stars was like the most dominant feature there. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit, just a tiny bit, kind of touch it with the paint. You don't want to go too crazy. And then I'm just gonna try to figure out how I want to do this. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna do like a galaxy, like the actual Milky Way, and have this kind of white here in the center. Um, Actually gonna start from the center, and then just kind of rotate this brush and just fuzz it out. All the little stuff that you're seeing is actually dry paint that is fallen off of it from prior use. And these are actually really, really simple, like I said, to do because it doesn't require much. You just want to pretty much rub this paint in there until it's all off of your brush or as much off of your brush as possible. Little thing is quite dirty, actually. Almost ate the mic, you guys. Every time I talk bad about my brushes, something happens to me. I think they have a mind of their own. um, let's see. Thing on that because they do seem to have dry paint all over them. No, I look like a messy tessie. Okay. So again, just grabbing a little bit. And just pushing it out as much as you possibly can. What in the world? I should have test run this brush earlier today, or at least cleaned it. Well, it'll be clean after it's done now, because everything is flaking off. I have to laugh because I'm 2 seconds away from crying with this brush falling apart on me. Lord, and I'm gonna actually in the opposite direction. And I'm not too worried about how bright or how dark it gets right now because I'll be able to kind of come back in here and after one of the layers is done and just come back in and retouch up just some of it. I just want to get it, like you will, as possible, which was designed for this kind of hard labor. Who else is in the room? Hi, Claudia. It's just kind of feathering that out. I want to make it like an X type galaxy. I know that our galaxy has kind of like these arms that are everywhere. try to replicate that somewhat, but not too crazy. I do kind of a little bit. And just pretty much feathering on these colors. The one in the center is always going to be the brightest, it's going to be the brightest one because you don't hardly see the arms that much unless you're really, really far out in outer space. I just know that it has arms. It's like, it looks like a windmill almost when it's spinning. Probably with more than four arms, but I'm only going to do four. This is my own little galaxy. So kind of like a weird design like so. And I'll do different ones as I move forward along the line. And actually what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab this big one, if it'll let me. 'Cause the big one's a little stiff. It's a little stiff, the big one. Really needs some water soap. I'm just gonna kind of spin this like right in the center. Okay, no more paint left. Perfect. So I think that's pretty much good to go for right there. We have like this spinning situation happening in the center. And then we have I'll go back into it with the white after I'm done with this next step here. And for this step, I'm just gonna grab a regular brush. You don't have to get too fancy, but maybe I will get just a little fancy. Get a softer brush for this. And I have my water here in the background because you always need to have yourself a cup of water on the background somewhere. I'll go into this. This is the, and I'm also gonna add a little drop of this. This is glazing medium. I actually found one, but it's really loose. So I'm just gonna add a couple drops of that, and I'm gonna go into it with the red first. I don't know if you guys can see that too well. Yeah, you actually can't see that very well. I'm loading up on the medium first, mixing that in. And I haven't tried it with the actual gloss medium, so I'm hoping that it'll do what it says it's gonna do, which is dry clear and glossy. But we shall see. What I'm gonna do is kind of just start brushing this on and just mixing this in. This paper, I want to say it is what is it, basil? Got a texture to it. It's not like that smooth cardstock. It's a little bit more texture than that. It's got like this honeycomb to it. I'm gonna wash my brush. Well, not wash, but rinse. Dry and go into the next color. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour some of that right out there. Into the blue. And again, just kind of load up my brush with that blue and that the glazing to that. Pink here in the center, if it'll let me. And then what happens if you find yourself that you're getting like these lines, and this is all stuff that I learned by the way by watching Painting with Jane. So me coming out of nowhere with these ideas. I actually watched from watching her and learning from her. If you find that you're getting like hard lines between the colors, just go back into with a little bit of medium by itself, and that should pretty much. And it's okay if you have a little bit of water in your paint. Going back into it with the red and get kind of like there on the side. Multiple step kind of process. It's an easy project, but it's just multiple steps. If you want it to be how many layers you want it to have, quite a number of times. Just mixing that white in, mixing that not white, but that the notice how I can still see what's going on in the background there. And then once I do this part here, I'm gonna go in and smooth that out a little bit. Was a little chunky right there. Was a little chunky. I'll add the stars and then I'll go back into it. Add the stars and push this one to the side and then work on the next one. So while this one's drying, I'll be doing the next one, and that's how I'm gonna move through them somewhat here on this side. Borrow some of this medium there. And then we're gonna do this whole layer situation one more time after the stars are done, and we'll emphasize some of our cloud spaces and give this whole galaxy situation a little bit more life, so that you can actually see everything that's happening, foreground, so on and so forth. And for those of you that know me, you know that painting is actually one of my passions. It's actually one of the things I really, really love to do. Um, just kind of bringing in some color in different areas because I don't want it to look like this yellow red situation happening here. And some color in different places. I like so stuck on one shade. Hi, Deb. I don't know if I said hi to you already, but hello in case I didn't. And let's see, let's go into with a deeper here. This is almost done. Want to go with a little deeper blue. And the glue or the medium actually makes the paint translucent. So even if it's a little heavy, it'll still be somewhat see-through. Um, Grabbing some clear medium right here where the two colors meet so that they can blend. And that blue and that yellow shall form some kind of a green. Same for the other side where I add red and um, get a little darker red there. Just kind of go into that. Always rinsing out my brush for the most part, or at least trying to remember to always rinse out the brush. and just going into it again with some of that clear medium. And then I'm gonna put this to the side because this is about a bit of purple in there as well as the red and the blue kind of meet up and exchange info. Wait, I forgot to do that there. You see, talking about, then I do it. Let me just smooth out this yellow right here. This dry, you should only see, it looks really muddy right now, but as this dries, the effect should be that you only see the, and then just the colors and none of this white haziness. This one to the side and let this one dry. And actually I should add the stars to it now and let it dry. The stars to dry in a separate situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some stars into that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab some paint and some of that same white paint, and I'm just gonna add a little spritz of water here. I don't wanna go too crazy. I just want it to be a little loose, crazy. I just want it to be a little loose, enough that it'll coat my brush. You don't want it too loose, but you don't want it too thick either, so that you don't end up with globs of paint. Um, and then what I'm gonna do is grab a brush. Now you don't want to bang the metals together. That's one thing I learned from Jane, and it's a good thing that I finally learned that because I always bang the metals together. What you want to do is you just want to bang on the fat parts of the brush and kind of straight down and create little clusters of just little stars everywhere. As we're making fun of me. He's over there making the tapping sound. Especially like around the center of the nebula, right? Because they're full of stars. I'm making kind of like the painting that I did yesterday, but I'm making them in tag size. So I'm just adding stars. And you don't have to go too crazy because we're gonna add more stars later. And wherever you get yourself like paint, if you will, you don't have to worry about that too much. Just grab yourself a little toothpick or something. Not a toothpick, a little Q-tip or even your finger, and just kind of dab them out. They'll just create little fun effects of just other things happening. So you don't have to go crazy, be like, oh no, I got this huge glob over here. Like, no, just you just kind of smush them out. You don't have to worry too much about it. So we're gonna let this dry. And as you can see, it's already starting to get somewhat clear, and you're just being able to see like some of the colors and stuff like that that's going on. So I'm gonna put this one to the side, and then just let this dry. Got gloss. Yay, it's got gloss. So this should come out really nice once it's done. And then I'm gonna mount this on black cardstock once it's done. And I don't know about putting maybe planets, but maybe this one will have like a little spaceship, like one of the rockets or something kind of going through there. In the center of the Milky Way, I have one of the stickers here that looks like the center of a galaxy. So that might actually look pretty cool on this, especially since I did actually paint the blue. Huh, and that happened kind of by accident. So I'm just gonna put this right here on my little easel for now on the side, and let's work on the next one. I know, and I did the same thing too, and this is what I'm saying. Like, this is so like, at least for me, it has become important to watch people that are a little bit more professional than I am because I'm not somebody that has gone to school for this. I'm just somebody that likes to paint. I'm not well versed in terminology or, you know, so, academics of arts, if you will. This one is this is gloss. So when you buy your glue, sometimes they'll say gloss finish. So this is a gloss finish, and It'll do two things when it comes to this type of project. It'll thin out your paint and make it translucent, finish with a high gloss once it's all dry and done. And it'll seal it. So it'll do everything all in one shot. So either you can use this, like let's say you finish, like you paint your beautiful scenes as well. Because for those of you guys that do not know, Miss Very Crafty Bonet herself is an artiste. Okay, she also paints. She just doesn't do it on YouTube, which I wish she would. You can use this to seal off your artwork and just look beautiful forever. For the most part, this is a really, really good thing to have. Really what gave it that. Not, I don't think it's this, although I know that this also, I mean, it's a glazing, so it's obviously gonna give it some shine, but it doesn't say nothing about gloss on it, so I'm not gonna give the credit of the gloss to the glazing medium. I'm gonna give the credit of the gloss to the decoupage glossy finish. I think for this one, I'm gonna make like a panoramic view of the sky. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put different cloud formations in different places, and make it like a little snapshot, like if you was looking into the sky, pretty much right quick. And I see that I have a sticker of what appears to be a shooting star. So this one might actually have the shooting star kind of shooting across it. So I'm gonna work on some cloud formation for this one. And I hope that my brush no longer angry at me and falling apart, because this is just a stencil brush. That means you're supposed to just tap tap tap. I'm like Zeb, I know you busy bee. Hi Maida, you made it. No, you're good. Scenes when it comes to oceans and stuff like that than I do, because I've seen her work. I'm still trying to get this water situation together. She does the complete look. Girl, tap yourself on the back. You awesome. Yeah, so even if you start with matte paint, if you add the glossy finish afterwards, then your painting will shine. So I can, yes, you can. Just don't mix it with the paint. Just paint your painting, and then when you're finished, just glue it all down like if you was gonna cover a puzzle, and you should be fine. So for this one, I'm gonna create like little cloud clusters, and I'm gonna start here in this corner here, and I'm just gonna try to uh, thin this out as much as I possibly can to the point where I have no more paint on this brush. So if you guys are really into painting, I would definitely recommend that you check out her channel. Awesome. And I just love the way that she sounds when she's describing things. Like literally, I have fallen asleep watching her, and not because she's boring or because I'm not enjoying what I'm watching, but because her voice is just so calming. It's just like, oh my God. Having like a really, really hard time sleeping, watch her and just learn and then just eventually fall off. So just kind of beating up this brush. And this is why you need a brush that you don't really care for too much, because to do these types of techniques, you really do have to kind of like scrub this paper. And it's gotta be paper that is said it's gotta be something that can take the abuse. So canvas paper, um, prepped paper, cardstock, cardboard, something that is, because not all things can take the abuse of all that scrubbing. If you do this on normal paper, you're gonna break your paper into a million pieces. You're gonna shred the heck out of it. I bet, I bet Brandy, because that's how they are. That's how they are at this time. Kind of like I want to have like a trail of where the shooting star is kind of coming from. So again, just kind of rubbing in this paint as much as I possibly can. And I'm gonna attempt to add sentiment to this, but you guys know how I am with my sentiments. I hate, hate, hate. I loathe entirely. I sound like the Grinch. Loathe it entirely. Writing messages with my hands. You know what I mean? That's the only way to write a message is with your hands, but I just don't like my handwriting. Sometimes it wants to work with me, sometimes it doesn't. It is just very finicky. And I feel like a cave woman. Just filling in these clouds. This is just gonna be like a break in the sky where you see this star kind of shooting through. So again, just kind of going into it with circular motions and just brightening up some of this that I already have going on here so that it shows through well. This is a technique that I just learned and I just had to try it. And you know how that goes. When you first see something that you like, you become obsessed with it and it's like everything that you do has to reflect what you just learned. So I am just super, super excited with this whole thing right now. Um, fact that she did kind of two videos back to back because it really helped me pick up like just the little odds and ends going into and just making some of these a little brighter, making some of these clouds just a little brighter in some spaces. And again, you don't want to pick up too much paint. So you notice how I'm not like dipping it and picking up globs of paint. I'm just tapping it and actually trying to remove as much of that excess as possible, so that I'm not having too much paint and it feathers out quite nicely. If you put too much paint on this, you're not gonna get the same effect like painting, like regular painting with brushwork, brush strokes, I should say, as opposed to this whole feathered out situation. So happy with that. And now let's get into some colors. So for this one, I think I'm gonna go a little different. Brandy, I completely understand if you check out early. No hard feelings, girl. I know you work and you have a hectic day and you got a baby running around. So, hmm. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cobalt teal, and this is like a really thin kind of paint of that. It's kind of watered down already, and I'm thinking maybe some dioxine purple just to add a little bit of interest. And I'm just gonna stick with these two colors because I still have some of those kind of there. And I definitely want this part here to be somewhat yellow. So I'm just gonna, first thing I'm gonna do is just grab some of that yellow that is already there before it dries out. I'm gonna add that yellow in there first. And this color is really, once you add this medium, it becomes really, really clear. So just be aware of your of color. You know, if you want it to be a little bit more vibrant, then use less medium and more color. If you want it to be more loose, more clear, I should say, then add more medium, less paint. I'm gonna kind of fill up this whole space right here with some of this yellow paint. A little bit of water into that brush. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of this red right here. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of this yellow. Kind of mix that in. Just kind of swoop it in there. Drains. Oh, my poor baby. Hey, Brandy's so tired. All right, so now I'm gonna grab more of this medium. Not really a medium. I mean, it is a medium, but it's glue. I'm gonna mix it with some of this teal color. Get a loose paint as it is, so too much. I fill this whole sky up with stars, and I need more. Brandy, they're trying to keep you here against your will. Some of that medium. So go into it. Again, the medium just helps it to be translucent, so you don't have, it doesn't cover up what you're doing in the background. And as this dries, guys, pretty clear. And if you want to mix the colors a little bit better, then just add a little bit more medium by itself. Two colors meet, and then you'll change the hue a little bit. I'm rinsing the brush. Very important to rinse your brush, especially when you're working with mediums, because everybody knows what it feels like to have your brush dry with glue on it. Save it. Um, do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself because you are not gonna be happy. Then you're gonna be saying, "Crazy Carmen, why didn't she tell me to wash my brush?" Kind of like that with a little bit of a deeper purple, and then just brushing this on. Show you guys. The other one dried. Um, one bright yellow band, which I shall be fixing. It pretty much dried clear. Let's see. So I shall be working on that one in a little bit once I get done with this one. And I'm gonna add a little bit of red right here. Just adding some, but still applying it over with the medium so that it does not my painting. Just kind of grabbing on a bits of color here and there and just having fun with it because that's really what this is about, you guys. You have to be able to have fun with it. grab some more of that purple and bring in some of that darker purple here, right along the top. Half matte, because I would have been getting, thanks, Deb. I would have been getting paint all over the wood. So this is why I wallpaper my desk, because I'm one messy crafter. I surely am. I am one messy crafter. That is one thing nobody can take away from me. The brush starts to feel a little sticky or a little stiff, rinse it, dap it dry. Don't squeeze the don't squeeze your brush like it's got a piece of bread stuck in its throat. It's like you're just trying to clean it. Commencing. I'm gonna go with a little bit more blue and maybe a little bit of this blue and then a little of the medium here. Just kind of blending that in there and just blend it in. Now I'm gonna let this one press to it and let it dry and just see where I need to add more colors or more cloud or case may be. And I'm gonna go back into it and add my stars. Just get a little bit more of this purple and add this in the bottom here. I'm just trying to go for color combinations that I normally would not go for because in outer space you see everything. Well, I guess there's a little bit of everything in there. So I'm going to assume that there's gotta be a spot over there where there's a little bit of, you know, and I'm gonna let this go and let this dry. No more adding color to this. Now I'm just gonna add my stars and I'm gonna clean up my brush before I do that so that it does not get hard on me. And I'm gonna go on with my little, which is one of the brushes that I received from Brandy, little paint set that she sent me, little paintbrush set. And again, you want your paint to be somewhat loose, but you don't want it to be too loose. So, you want it to hold on to the brush. You don't want it dripping off the brush, but you don't want it so loose that it's just completely diluted. Here, hi Patricia. Hi Charity. Add our stars again, and remember, you want to tap the fat parts of your brush, not the metal, the fat parts of your brush, straight, and just grab the top one and tap. You don't need to bring them both up and down. With just you tapping, creating little clusters of stars, you are more than go. And I think you can use pretty much any kind of um, thing here, any kind of brush to do this. Let me show you guys. So you see here where I have like a line of paint. All I'm gonna do is just tap that out. And when I go in for the second round, what you guys are gonna see now, um, some of that by adding maybe some additional clouds there, or just kind of going over it. Little shooting stars, if you will, off however you wish. Alrighty, so that one's done. Rinsing off that brush off as well. Dabbing it clean and putting this one to dry, and I'm gonna bring my other one out. Dry already. So we have our little nebula space here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go in with some of the white and just kind of some of this cloud situation a little bit more. I'm just kind of bringing it out so that it's place. The Sims 4 is coming to GameStop. Yes, I always overdo it. There's nothing like excess in my world. My kids love the Sims game, and I'm sure that as soon as they find out that a new Sim game is coming out, they'll be on it like white on rice. Nope, that's I almost put it in the wrong thing, you guys, because they're both white. And then I'm gonna do a little quick round of and then I'll pop my little sticker on there. More or less done. Just kind of going around there. These rings. Need more paint than that. Pressure as I do these rings. I have a little cloud right here that I did from So maybe we have like a little lost somewhere around there. And this is when it starts to get a little weird, if you will, because you start kind of adding little elements to it. And it might feel like you're going to lose it, but stick with it. Don't give up. You start over by painting the whole thing black again if that's what you wish to do. I just know that the galaxy, our Milky Way, it's very, very cloudy and white, right? Then you just see like all these little stars kind of everywhere. So I'm just kind of like adding all of this hazing so the sky just doesn't look so blank. And that's all that pretty much is. It's just a lot of hazing and an out of control solar system. It's kind of just going everywhere. And if you lose some of the stars, you can always add them back. So do not worry too much. And I am actually going to add some of, in the same way that I'm adding some of this, I'm actually going to go in there and stipple in some color them so that I have a more vibrant, translucent and all but vibrant. What the heck, Carmen, you lost it. No, not really. Well, maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? See towards the end. Picking up all these little pieces here of the dried up glue that fell on my desk. Trying to add some cloud highlights by making some clouds that just look really, really bright. Ends of the clouds that kind of look just like really, really bright in comparison to the other parts of it. So that when I go to add once more, everything is kind of bright. And it just looks like life is forming there. I see there's just a lot of stuff happening there. And all these arms are just kind of growing out of control as life is expanding. Alrighty. So I think that about does this. Then I'm just gonna go in now with some color out of my bright parts that I wanted in there. I can't tell with the angle of the camera. That's why I'm like flipping it in every direction. Um, so like I said I was gonna do, I'm actually gonna grab some of the same colors that I used before. Um, but this time I'm just gonna go in and um, kind of dab them in there. So I'm gonna go to a stiffer brush, so that I can just dab more concentrated color, like in between like the clouds and stuff like that. Used was the red, the yellow. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that to that, and I keep forgetting to add. Just kind of adding now some clouds, not so much cloud, but just banks of color, if you will. Just different things that are kind of happening here. Mix that in, and it's okay to go over the cloud a little bit. Just don't cover up everything that you just did as far as, all the white ones. And if you do, it's okay. You can just go into it again with more at a later time. And here we are with the blue. And I'm gonna need to pick up more. I'm picking up a little bit of a heavier color, heavier concentration, going into it. Picking up some of the just plain, brushing that in so that those colors kind of blend in with each other. Revealing some of that white back out of it. Brush, not covering everything up because I kind of overstepped a little bit. A yellow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. In my zone, you guys. And then we're gonna go into this with a little bit more just to make them pop out again. Look like they're off at a distance. And then stars that are like right here close to home. And then I'm gonna consider this one done. Adding a little bit of stars. I'm gonna add my sticker and I'm gonna let this dry. The reason I'm gonna add this while it's still kind of wet is because this is glue after all. So I'm just gonna allow it to be. And let me get my stain here. And I'm gonna add some more. Kind of went a little overboard there. Just adding a little touch of wherever I feel like I lost it. And now for some stars. Because the sky just looks so pretty with stars. The excess that I have here of this white paint. Because again, I'm not trying to want to give it that pop. Some fresh, bright stars. Getting real close so that I can add like real little clusters of stars in certain areas. Especially like over this whole nebula thing because here is where most of the stars are formed. Yourself some stars in there. And then our sticker. And now we're gonna add our little sticker right in the center. Dry because she is pretty much glossed and ready to go. And I have paint all over my fingers. But our first tag, very simple. And we're gonna move on to the next one. And I'll let this one dry. Do pretty much the same thing to this one, which is to touch up a lot of the white that we lost here. Thank you, darling. I'm gonna do the same thing to this one, just kind of try to find where all those little peaks are of the cloud. Kind of stand out. Looping on the paint, it actually dries really, really quick. I almost dip it in the glue, and we don't really want transparent clouds for this. We want our clouds to kind of stand out because this is supposed to be like a panoramic view to a certain extent. Um, it actually looks like when there's a break in the cloud itself, and you can kind of see the sky for a minute. Sky, you can see all the stars and the twinkling planets and just all the good stuff that happens up there. I always think of stars as prayers being answered. So I just look at that as all the prayers that get answered on a day-to-day basis, and the twinkling just means incoming. Brandy, are you not collecting the house mouse and cling, or are you only collecting them in block? I saw the cling ones on eBay, I think for like 5 and change. I think there's a seller that's selling them for like 5 and change, and like I think it's like $2 and something for the shipping. Buy more than one from one seller there, you can get them to kind of combine shipping. You just have to let them know. The cheapest? You're asking me, Brandy, what's the cheapest that I saw? On the cling though, I didn't see the blocks. The blocks they have them, but the blocks is ridiculous. Those things must be like antique or something. I don't know. Crazy for those block ones. It was like 5.99 or something like that. I think it was almost about the same price that I paid for my mermaid cut and die stamp. But they had all different kind. I know that. Um, you're just like me, as frugal as can be, girl. We're cut from the same cloth in that department. I don't really know how much the house mouse stuff goes for. I just know that they're like really high in demand. I'm thinking that I'm gonna use this one here. Just take these out, which is like a shooting star. But I gotta make a tail, and the tail on this one looks. I want to go with it too light, but I'm gonna get some of this burnt sienna burnt umber. I'm sorry, burnt umber. And I'm just gonna mix a little dot of that with the yellow, just to see what color I can get it. Um, I'm gonna tap that in there, medium in there too. Get some more yellow. I know I'm telling you, I saw that. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, why are these things so darn expensive? So I'm gonna put like a trail here. It's kind of shooting off the distance. I've intensified the yellow by adding some brown into it. So I think that'll do. And then I'm gonna add some of the white, some white on there, just to kind of tone it down a little bit on the edges. I'm kind of bringing it in, kind of like so. And then my shooting star. But before I add my shooting stars, you guys know what comes next, right? Yeah, like I would not pay for that. I would not pay that amount for anything to do with stamps. I don't care if they're giving me 100 of them in such bad shape that you need dollars on a gajillion stamps, or two or three for that matter. That's just insanity. All right, so coming into my paint, my white paint again, and I'm going to add some stars. Okay, I put too much water on this one. You see, that's what happens. You put too much water and you remove all that excess from your brush, then you'll just end up with globs everywhere. So I'm just gonna dab this in there. Just adding some fresh ones. And you could always see 1,000,001 stars in the sky. So this is why I'm adding so many. For those of you that just think I'm obsessed with the tapping, it's actually how I see the sky. I see it with like a million stars, all sizes, from the tiniest little twinkle to planets that are out there twinkling just like stars do. And I think I'm good with that. And as always, rinsing and cleaning the brush. And now time for the sticker. And then this kind of makes sense overall with the shape of how I did the cloud, because like an almond shape and the whole entry is like an almond shape. Sense with how everything is going. My second tag, which I'm gonna call it shooting star. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. So I'm gonna call this one Nebula Shooting Star. And I don't know how many more I can do of these, but I'm probably gonna do maybe one more so that I can put a spaceman in there. No, not a spaceman. Maybe some of those planets. But not bad so far. I guess tags I would say, but it all depends because you can actually frame these up thing other than a bookmark or a tag or something. You can actually frame and just do a nice little wall, maybe for like a child's room, different planets and just stars and stuff like all over the place. A bit about science at the same time. Let's get another one out. Any suggestions, you guys? I'm open. I am open for suggestions. Haley's comment. No, because YouTube will probably take my video down for plagiarism. Be like, what you talk about, Willis? Didn't you know they already got a Haley's comment out there? And it ain't yours. Si tú lo dices, yo te creo, because I have no idea. I don't listen to Coldplay. I always thought that the one that what's his name, the one that passed away, he was all into like outer space and planets and aliens and all that stuff. I forgot what his name is, but he's like super duper famous. Um, so any suggestions, you guys? Any color combinations? This is Maida. Been and hoping. Gotta get more white paint because just trying new things, expand your horizons. Ooh, okay. What do you think about this, right? So I paint a girl. Here is the galaxy. Okay, well that makes complete sense, Ruth. I give it away. So they usually go out in Happy Meal. So usually what I'll do is like if I don't give it away during a live stream, then I randomly just pick times and I just send my stuff out. Few pieces in my house of stuff that I actually have made. Most of my things are in other people's homes. I mean, that way they think of me every time they pass by it. Oh, okay, okay. I was never one much. I was never one for like the rock or music. I like some songs. Like I like Linkin Park. Unfortunately, the lead singer is no longer with us, but I really liked his music because it touched me somehow. It was very deep. So I can understand like where he was coming from and like the things that he said. So I really liked that band. But other than that, like I liked REM back in the day. Oh my god, back in the day. But things have changed. It's no longer the same. So I kind of faded out of all of that. Now I just stick to my Spanish, my bachatas, my salsas, my merengues. I love reggae. I love reggae. It's like my daughter, my oldest daughter. Every time I used to put reggae music in the house, she used to be like, "Take that off. Why are you listening to that?" You're like 40. I'm not 40, by the way, but that's what she would tell me back then. You're not 15 anymore. This, that, and the third. And guess who's listening to reggae now? And guess who's listening to the same songs that I used to listen to? Oh, I could just hang her in the closet. Well, not so much the reggaeton, but I do like my reggae, my Jamaican reggae, and then all of that good stuff. My lady song and just and on and on. I know, but I'm not there yet, so I'm not gonna jump the gun. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do whole thing white. Am I? I'm trying to see. Let me see where I go with this. Oh. So I got a charcoal, white charcoal pencil, which should hopefully work good on this black paper because it's got tooth to it. Rastaman, yes man. I loves all of that. So the way through and through. That's all I used to have in my record player. Would be like, what the heck? It just they don't look like they mix, but I love it. I loves it. So let's see. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw her down here. Oh, good. It does draw. So I'm just gonna create like a face, and this is white charcoal. So I just hope that it does what I need it to do. And I'm just gonna give her like some kind of an L shaped. And I gotta look with my temperature because I have one eye in Chicago, the other one like I have one eye in Chicago and the other one like all the way down on the other side of the world. Like me too, too. My husband tells me like, how the hell do you understand them? I just do. I just do. I don't know. I don't know, but I just do. It's naturally fast, so I can um I can completely understand like what they're saying. So let's see. Okay. These are subject to change, but I think this is what I'm gonna do. Bring her chin down just a little bit. I have her like lips under her chin. Liz, you went down memory lane. And I think what I'm gonna do actually is have her hair matches um, of what her hair is gonna be. So let's see. So definitely the nebulas are gonna come. The shading is gonna. She's gonna kind of look like Bride of Frankenstein because I'm gonna give her like the nebula kind of coming up through the sides here, and then everything else is gonna be I don't know. I'm trying to see which sticker I can use in this one. If she's even gonna get a sticker, maybe I could put the moon right in the middle of her forehead or the sun. So we shall see. So I'm gonna need a whole new palette. And this is what magazines are good for. Just throw that one out and keep moving on the next, or save them and paint on them and use them for our art journal. You can do that too. I know plenty of people on here that do that all the time. So what I'm gonna do is actually go into her face. No, the first thing I'm gonna do is her hair. I am so bad at this. I gotta treat my brushes better. I gotta love them in the same way that they love me. So what I'm gonna do first is her hair, and I'm gonna just go into the nebulas, and do those first. And then I want you guys to give me some ideas for her hair, and then we'll figure it out. So I kind of want to go into her hair like so. And I'm gonna call this one parallel universes because I'm gonna attempt to do the same thing on both sides, and hopefully I shall be able to. Am I looking right-handed or left-handed today, you guys? I know you guys be telling me that I'll be looking left-handed on the camera because I had it on mirrored. So again, just in swirling motions, just kind of rubbing, twirling the brush until most of that paint is off of it. And I just have like this very, very hazy going on. And I am gonna go into it now and just give it a little bit more shape. I just bringing out some of those edges in and out. It's a little bit more hazy. I'm really working that brush, which is why I'm breaking so many bristles, but I'm fine with it. Swear, she's gonna be doing a lot of this, baby. Again, just kind of getting really hazy here. I'm filling it in, but I'm getting it's very, very light. And I feel like I want to do more tracks than just the one. So um I might just add another coming from somewhere in there. just really getting that and I'm not worried if I go out of the edges that I drew because I can always paint over that. Way out. I should have done this one way more in than how I did this one, but I think I did her face a little bit off skew. Everyone taking off. Good night, Claudia. Leaving? Too late today? This is why I start at 6. What time is it? 9. Oh, I don't blame you guys. It's late this time. I'm still working on this last tag. Alrighty. So I'm thinking I want to add maybe, I don't know. I definitely got to add something to the middle of that. I can't just leave that here like that. So um, let's just kind of go in there and create this hourglass. Fill this in and start adding colors. Okay, I think I know where I'm going with this now. Get this nice and thick. Trying to add some thick bands of cloud in here. Looks very much a lot wider than all the other kind of clouds. Ones and some happening there. And then that's gonna be my little nebula spaces. So I'm going in a little bit thicker now with the white paint. Not blending it out so much, just so that I can get some actual kind of cloud formations here. Just darkening this up. And then the center, I'm gonna leave that black because the center is where a lot of the color is gonna um, and I might even, maybe not, maybe not, Carmen, don't do it. Don't do it, Carmen, don't do it. So she's a cloud head. It's official. She got her head in the clouds. Good night, Brandy. We're gonna miss you. So I'm gonna add the color in here because I think I'm gonna go into her face with white mostly. Maybe a hint of blue in it, but mostly white because she's supposed to be like, the star child or whatever. So there's now. So you guys have any ideas on colors? The cobalt teal. I have the phthalo green. Some of this interference, which I'm probably gonna do that after. I'll probably paint her face with some of the interference to just give her like a different look. I mean, I have the interference in violet and in green, magenta, primary red, yellow, blue. Any ideas? Any suggestions? I need at least two or three colors. Okay. So no suggestions? Alrighty. So I am gonna go into it with let's see. Um Get some of this cobalt blue in there. A little bit more than that. Um so let's go with some primary blue. I'm not really so sure about the yellow on this one. Maybe some green. No, no green. What other colors do I have in here that I can add to that? Some pink, some neon pink, some neon pink, blue, gold, and red. Silver. Okay. Let me add some pink to the mix real quick, and I'll get some silver. I have silver. I have silver right here. In the gold, what I'll do is I'll add the glitter that I have that is a gold color glitter. So we have some silver right there. So we have some metallic silver, which is the shimmering silver. We have cobalt teal in the mixed media. In the Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylics, we have primary blue and we have neon pink and silver. Pink, some yellows. Yeah, I'm gonna add the gold is gonna be my yellow. Oh, she's still here. What? She couldn't stay away. She couldn't stay away. All right, so let me go ahead and just drip some medium on all of these colors. Is the glossy, and I'm gonna even add it to the silver, see what happens with that. I've never done that before. And then I'm gonna add some of the glazing on each of them to see what happens. Okay, the point of no return. Carmen, what are we starting out with? Let's start out with the blue, the cobalt teal color. And let's just splash that on right here. Right on the sides. This is the good thing about actually doing your sketches in some kind. Well, if you're working on black, you can do your sketches in white charcoal and it will not affect your painting when you're done. It's the opposite situation when you're doing it with black because the black will actually blend into your colors. Um, Black surface, you can feel free to go into it with chalk, charcoal, and you'll be fine. Okay, so we have happening here. And I'm just trying to remove some of these brush strokes and just let them kind of fade out. My brush is in the same color. I'm gonna grab some of this blue and thin this out. Just kind of go into that like that. The same thing on this side. Okay, now I'm gonna put you on water and give you a timeout. Just grabbing my mediums here and trying to blend this whole situation out over here. I'm gonna add the silver now. The silver is gonna be um, overwork it. You will pick up that color, but I actually wanted to move that color, so um, doing this kind of stuff that you don't overwork it. If you don't want to remove the color, because you will do that, just by adding the medium itself, it'll lift it up again. But I'm okay with that because that just looks like something funky is going on over there. Um, Silver, and I probably should have shook this silver a little bit better because it seems like all I got was liquid, that binder liquid. There we go. That's a little bit more. And let's just see. Can put a little bit of silver here. And it's not doesn't show very much. Silver doesn't show very much. So I'm not sure. It's not very much. Nope. Respect is this silver. Now let's add some pink to her. I don't want too much pink. Maybe just like in certain locations. The medium. Just bringing this down a little bit. Bring that up. And I'm actually going to be cropping this on the sides to give her like an angle. I'll see how this is all going to look at the end. Because I'm right now not so sure. I think I'm going to grab some of this teal. Oh, I like that. Of course it does, Brandy. Some solar. Add some solar right in between. Um, Silver's not really doing it for me right now, you guys. It's not really thick enough. It's too loose. Let's try some purple. Looks like an evil ice queen. Oh my. I'm about to add some purple to the mix. Some because the silver was just not working for me. So add a dab of that in there. And maybe I should switch up my brush. Marlin. What do I have? I need brushes badly. Come on, man. Pop out. Pop out into the light so I can see you. This one will do. Right. And I'm not wetting the brush at all. I'm just going into it. And I'm mixing it. I'm mixing the purple with the silver just to give it a little bit of life. Now I'm just gonna have fun. 'Cause I like how that looks. Just a whole bunch of funky stuff going on. All right, night night. And then I'm gonna go into her face with some stars. I just hope all of this kind of did something for her. And when it dries, it looks phenomenal. Give her like these wings. I'm not so good for the left-handed side of stuff. Hi, Michelle. I just hope that as she dries, she maintains her transparency and we can just see highlights of different colors happening here. And while she dries up top, I'm gonna actually go and her bottom features. And then once I'm done, I'll add some stars. Well, I should add the stars now just in case I mess up any more stars later. This has all these colors going on. Let's see. Okay, I gotta stop because otherwise I'll never stop. Yes. I'm starting to get the feel for that, Maida. So I'm gonna start working on the stars real quick, and once I get these stars in place, then I can go ahead and the rest of her. So I'm just gonna cover her face up with a card. Don't get none on her face. Her face to be somewhat white, so um, I think that'll probably be the best contrast with this kind of background. Oh, almost forgot my banger. I need my banger stick. And I stay stuck in one little spot so that I can create like little clusters of of stars. Because you know how sometimes you see them grouped together. So that is all I'm trying to recreate here is just having them kind of just grouped together, little star families. Okay, star overkill. This is the last one of the night. So far, you can really see that shine from that glass, that glass Mod Podge. So now to get into her face. So let me get one of the smallest brushes that I have so that I can start really getting into some of these details here. Okay. So Gonna grab some of this white, bring that over. I'm gonna go into with a blue first, and then I kind of mix the blue with the white a little bit, so I can give her like a baby blue kind of tone first. It up as I go. Thanks, Maida. Jackie. Thanks, Ruth, for hanging out with us tonight. Que tengas una buena semana y un buen fin de semana. I will definitely have to fix around the eyes because right now she is looking wicked. And this is just like a blender brush. It's just like a little blender brush I pulled out because it was getting kind of yeah. And all this pretty much does is just blend it out. I gotta find a smaller brush here. A detail with the eye section. Where are my teeny weeny brushes? Same it. Here we go. Now I gotta do her eyes. So I need a like, where's the black? It's already black. So maybe I need a cobalt blue to do this. Let's see how we do. Blue. See how that looks. Looks wicked. I don't know if I chose the best color combination for this girl's face. She looks scary. She looks scary. Pink to those cheeks. She was looking wicked. Well, she definitely looks like something out of this world. That's for sure. Let me get a pencil. She definitely looks like something out of this world, you guys. Let me add some color pencil into her life because I'm not really feeling how it is looking so far. I need my other box. My other box. What did I do with my other box? A pencil. Okay. I'm gonna have to use these. I didn't want to use these, but I'm gonna have to use these. Um, this is what blue. Let's see what I do here. How I fix this. This pencil is what I'm using now. To kind of add, yeah, I don't want her hanging over my bed. Yeah, she looks kind of scary right now. I am not going to lie. That's scary right now. But hopefully, I can soften some of this up. Took all the way over right in her eyes so that she doesn't look so hella crazy. Um, I don't know if this is helping or making it worse. She looks friendly. Mayra, you crazy. I wouldn't want her as a friend. She look like the ice queen for real, for real. There you go. I think she's gonna have to get some flesh tone up in here because um, I might end up having nightmares with her tonight. Her so long. Oh Lord, what happened was she scared the bejeebus out of me. These pencils. She was looking so great when I started. I didn't think the process right. Okay, those settlers do not want to paint over my paints. So now the ones that I just bought, the Marco, let's see if these do any better. I got paint chip everywhere. Um, let's just see. Let's see how this does. These do not want to paint over the gloss either. Oh, great. Great. How am I supposed to fix it in it? Where's my thin liner brush? Let me get some black. I got black. I am trying to fix this, you guys. It's got like it looks it's got all different colors in it. Like I can see all of the colors, but the purple is very dominant for some reason. Um, not that much purple, but it is very, very dominant. This is not working. Why she look like that, man? She look crazy. So this is what happens when you epic fail something. Hello, you guys. Doing so good with the hair, and then the face went boom because my brushes are not that great, and the ones that I love are hard because I love them to their stiffy core. So I'm trying to find a brush that is not all discombobulated, that I have not loved to pieces, and that I can still somehow salvage. So how I can go about fixing this because those eyes are bugging me out. She looked like a serial killer. So I am hoping I can fix this by humanizing her somewhat instead of making her look like she came from the pits of you know where. Looking like an evil Morticia. So I'm gonna paint the whole eye situation white because I can't deal with those evil looking eyes. Cannot deal with those evil looking eyes. Shine through. What's that zone brush? It's supposed to help me get the rough edges out. Just not gonna give her a nose. This is gonna work on giving her some decent looking eyes, and I'm gonna call her a wrap. I'll call her done. Give her some cheekbones there. Put her in the drawer tonight. She has the drawer that you make out. You know what? You might be right, Deb. You might just be right because she is one scary piece of pie. Let me tell you, she is one scary piece of pie against me. I hope she don't hold it against me. Purple. That purple on my lips. Yeah, I really have to every single piece of utensil that I have, trying to make her look a little bit better. Trying to make her look a little bit more decent. Eyes areas dry out so that I can go into them. I was doing so good with the planets. Carmen, why didn't you just stick to the planets? You had to get fancy, huh? Getting fancy. So, bit of that blue, a bit of that blue. See how I'm gonna do this. Thin. I need a thin one. Sucking right now instead of brushes. Every time that my brushes start going out of whack, I don't throw them out, which is why I have a bucket full. But once they don't paint like I want them to paint, I'm looking for excuses to buy another set of paintbrushes. Drawing out eyes, I'm just adding these blue things here, and then a marker and just color in her eyes. Wait, let's see here. So let me get a black. Eyes, I'm gonna go on with the cobalt, the pink, and see what color I get. Cool. How's that purple? A lavender color. It works. Don't like it. Okay, so gray. Add a little bit of gray in there. Let's add a little bit of blue. Let's add a little bit of a different blue. She looked like me in the morning. Yeah, lesson learned, you guys. Lesson learned. That's for sure. This was not one of my finer moments. She got these weird old lips. Hmm? No. Um, yellowy, kind of a peachy, kind of like a peachy color. Dark green gray. No, no green gray. Green grays do I got? What color is this? It's like a light gray. Just gonna give the inclination that there was a nose there, but I'm not gonna emphasize it too much. Me not like how it came out overall. So I'm thinking that my ice queen is just about done. From soldier to Miss Universe, I'll scare the living crap out of you no matter where you are. So much me not like it too much. So I'm gonna leave her like that, and I'm gonna call it a day, you guys. So overall, say so now you wanna this thing. Now you wanna do it right. Put you in some paint. So now you wanna. This thing is ridiculous. I wants to paint you guys. Isn't that funny? The struggle is real. Now she wants to work. I'll tell you. Now she wants to work. Now she don't look so scary. She was looking very, very scary at the beginning. Demonic out of her, thank God. Because there was no way in heck I was going to have this in my room tonight. It was going to happen. You're very welcome, my darling. Thank you. It's been a pleasure as usual. And I promise no more white and blue faces. Learned my lesson. I shall not be doing this no more. From now on, I'm sticking to real skin tone colors that don't scare me, that matter. Because homegirl did a number on me today. She did a number on me today, boy. Had me scared to death. I was just like, oh, great. What am I going to do now? She looks a little bit better now. So thank you guys. Have an awesome night. Thank you all so much for joining me on this late day. I shall be back on Saturday, and I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but we'll figure it out as we get there. Have an awesome, awesome time. If I don't see you till then, you guys posted. Bye.